I got kissed right on the lips without my mask on by a complete stranger last Monday on November 9th, 2020 in Olive Garden. My son and I, we had walked into Olive Garden and we were greeted by people who were actually smiling. Normally, you walk into a restaurant, everyone just kind of looks like they're grumpy and frowny and unhappy that you're there. Like you're an inconvenience to them. Well, these two people, they weren't like that. They were so excited to be there. And they seated us. And pretty soon, it was my mother-in-law's birthday. She was turning 70 amazing years. And we are all sitting around this table. And I look around, and it wasn't just the people at the front desk who were smiling. It was everyone in the restaurant. It was like this infectious feeling. And the cool thing was, we all had our masks off. You see, when you're in a restaurant, you don't have to wear your mask, right? Because you're eating. Well, you have to wear it when you get up and you walk around. But basically, when you're sitting there at the table, you don't have to wear one. And I look over, and there's a few different tables. There's this biker guy, this really old biker dude. And he's like that guy where he will wear a t-shirt and a biker vest, a Harley leather vest, all winter long, and that's all he'll wear on his motorcycle in a snowstorm. This guy is like, his beard's down to here. He's diehard Harley, and he has his wife on the other side of the table, and she's diehard Harley grandma. And then there's this pretty little thing. She's sitting over on the side, tiny little girl. So it had to be grandma and grandpa. And then over here, there is a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and they're enjoying each other, and they're just loving each other, and they have this beautiful dessert. And back here, there's this mom and dad and their little tiny boy, and the little boy is quite upset. And even though he's screaming, it's not bothering anyone. And there's a few other birthdays, and you can hear them singing their Olive Garden happy birthday song. And everybody's really just enjoying this time together. Well, this young lady, the pretty little thing that is sitting with the Harley grandpa and Harley grandma, she starts talking to me. She looks at me and she goes, "Hi." And of course, I'm like, "Hi, I have a friend." So we start talking back and forth, and grandpa gets up and he goes to the bathroom. Well, I get up and I'm standing there and I pull up a chair, I sit down and I'm at the table, and this little girl and I, we just start having this huge conversation with each other. And she is so magical. And at the same time, Grandma told me, she said, she has this condition where she loses all of her hair when she gets stressed out. And I wanted to tell her, well, stress doesn't exist, but she was a Harley grandma and I didn't want to battle with that. So she tells me this, and I didn't even notice the problems with this girl's head at all, because all I noticed on her was this glow that came from her, the smile, the magic that radiated from this tiny little girl. She told me she was 4. And at one point she turned around and picked up something, and I could see the back of her head, and you could see that in fact, she was really losing her hair. And it was really, really incredibly bad, but she was so sweet and magical. And this little girl, we're sitting there, Grandpa comes back and it's time to go. And she wants to give me a hug. And so I knelt down in front of her on the ground, and she got off the seat and stood there, and she gave me the biggest hug that I've had. And I seriously almost became a felon, because I was going to kidnap that child. She was adorable. I wanted to take her home. And she gave me a hug. And then she reached up, and she's still talking to me. We're having this conversation. She reaches up and her grandma hands her her mask. And she puts her mask on. And then she grabbed my face and kissed me right on the lips. And I was so like, oh my gosh, this is really amazing. And Grandma kind of freaks out. She's like, this isn't normal. She doesn't kiss people. I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. I'm used to getting kissed. It's all good. But this little girl was so sweet. And then she pulled her mask down a little bit and put her cheek against my cheek and just rubbed her cheek on my cheek. And there was something magical from this young lady. Absolutely magical. And I never would have noticed it if I hadn't slowed down enough to recognize her smile and to connect with her. And we can recognize other people's magic by slowing down and looking them in the eyes and letting them know that we care about them and we're here to support them. And she looked at me and she looked in my eyes and she said, if you choose to walk around the restaurant and go talk to anyone else in here, you can, but wear your mask first.